Unlock the power of AI in marketing with our new series, AI Agent. Dive into the world of SaaS tools, discover how marketing pros deploy bots, and explore the best use cases for AI in your marketing strategy. Only on Marketing in the Age of AI podcast with Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today we have a very special guest somebody who is going to explain to us about how the software development is working. And today's guest is Manish Balakrishnan, a true innovator in technology and business strategy with over 25 years of experience. Manish has mastered the art of turning bold ideas into scalable products, specializing in healthcare, fintech, and AI-driven solutions. As the founder of DSHG Sonic, he partners with startups to build minimally viable products, or MVPs, integrate AI, and automate operations, from creating AI tools for podcast management to transforming claims processing and insurance. Manish is redefining how businesses operate. Let's dive in and get some insights from Manish. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Emanuel, I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm very grateful for your time, and thank you so much for spending some time here with me today. And I know you're, you're out in Florida, and you guys getting good weather out there right now.
Yeah, it's been unusually warm this week in the 90s, but yeah, I'm happy.
That's good. Well, you are right in the center of the hurricane of software development. And explain a little bit about the history of your group, DSHG Sonic.
Sure. So DSHG Sonic is about a 7-year-old company. So we primarily work with early stage founders in building their MVP or building their technology products. That's what we have been doing. And along with that, we also work with a lot of enterprise companies in terms of running pilots or running something which is experimental within these large companies and not related to their day-to-day work. So that's something which we have been doing for the past 2 to 3 years as well. A lot of our work is related to, in the current world, mostly related to AIs, LLMs, foundational models, and building on top of them. So that's a brief history about what we do.
Love it. And so obviously with the artificial intelligence and LLMs and all that has really brought some attention on software and software development. What are a couple of the things that you've developed recently that has been interesting to you?
Sure. I think, being in the software engineering space for about 25 years, I've seen a lot of changes. And of course, AI is the most latest version of the change. Over and beyond what we have started building for other industries, one of the biggest changes we are seeing ourselves is the usage of AI within software development itself. So I think that's the biggest change which has happened in our organization itself, where a lot of the work which could be done by sort of a senior engineer, 2.5 years back, could now be done by a junior or mid-level engineer using AI, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of productivity, I know there are big numbers out there as such, but for our organizations, I think every engineer has increased their productivity by between 30 to 40% in the past 1 year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's the biggest change we are seeing. So as a result of that, we can do more work with the same number of engineers as such, because of the productivity improvement we have gotten. Over and beyond that, in the industry, what we have been seeing. So one of the investments I have is into a podcast servicing company, and so as a result of that, we started building a AI-based podcast software, which primarily does a very simple thing. It's like, once you record your podcast episode or your podcast video, you basically give it to the software, and then beyond that, everything is done by the software. So it's a series of tasks. In the current world, it is still not agentic enough that it can do it end-to-end automatically, but that's the way where it will lead to. But in the current world, you can do your simple editing. You can create your reels, captions, TikTok promos, YouTube Shorts, everything, right? Everything one after another, text summarization, headlines, transcripts, everything. So anything post production for a podcast, that software will do it end to end. You will have all the you will have all the artifacts available for you, and then you can move it into the respective social media channels or other things as such. The work in that right now is trying to make it agentic, in the sense like in the future you will just record the episode, and then all post production, even putting it on social media and other things, will be done by the software. That's going with that.
Yeah, I love it. I think what you've produced is a very functional piece of software at this point, and way better than an MVP, I'd say. Yeah. So I've enjoyed using it. I think my only comment would be I'd like to have more of a custom GPT where I can put in documents like exclusion phrases, how to spell my name.
Yes.
Things like that, so that there's a GPT that it's calling on to make sure that I'm getting output that's super clean.
Sure. Yeah, in the current world, we are doing it. Of course, we are a technical team, so a lot of our things become a little bit technical. It is not very consumer oriented, but we have something called as a info file. Info file is basically like telling you how to spell names, or if you have guests who have names which are like difficult for me to pronounce, saying that okay, this name is like this. Or saying that, okay, don't, if you mention about file share, it means in this context as well. So we have that, but it's more technical. We have to get it to a usable.
Yeah, I missed it then. Okay, cool. You anticipated that. Very nice.
So that's one of the exciting projects which we are working on. A second one, which is more related to the enterprises and what's happening within the enterprises, is we are doing a couple of pilots, and these are with, very medium-sized, I would say, insurance companies, where a lot of the insurance companies, and this is health insurance, right? So within health insurance, a lot of the claims which are filed go through an automated process to adjudicate it, or get it to payment, basically, finalize the billing. But if there are certain information missing and things like that, it falls to a manual processor to review it and adjudicate it, or reject it back, things like that. So one of the pilots we are doing with a small insurance company is basically taking the manual process which is currently there and converting it into MCPUs, which is computer use AI. So what we are doing in that is like we are mimicking what a human being can do. And a lot of people have asked me the question: robotic process automation a couple of years back could do some of the things which a human being could do and automate it. The difference with computer use AI is like now the rejection reasons and everything which the program can give is actually in real English because of the LLM use. And so it can give a rejection reason saying that, okay, this claim was rejected because this was missing this and missing this and missing this. 2 years back, when RPA was doing it, it was basically, error code E05, something like that. Nobody understood what that error code meant as such. And there were like 5 or 6 error codes, and nobody knew the priority of what was missing, what was not missing, etc. as such. But because of the LLM use case, right now, AIs have the ability to say that, okay, this is the error code, but this basically means that, the claim attachment didn't contain these 3 files which are needed to adjudicate this claim as such. So this is very early stage pilot which is going on right now. In terms of even small insurance companies as such, they are looking at a productivity gain of minimum 50 to 60% per processor if they could get this done. Because in this case, what will happen is like the AI would take it 90% of the way and get it to the last stage, and the processor just has to review it completely and say, okay, it looks good, press the submit button, and they are done with it, right? So that's a exciting pilot which we are doing right now using computer use AI. Because the other thing with computer use AI is like you can actually go to cloud systems or desktop applications, because a lot of the insurance companies use Windows-based desktop application. And the computer use AI can right now traverse through desktop applications as well, get the relevant information out, and push the workflow through.
Wow. So that's an agent that they've used for a specific use case inside of the claims processing. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And that's really the exciting part about this, isn't it? That what we dreamed of 2 years ago, we're actually now starting to be able to create solutions for. And I'm wondering, is the Anthropic MCP, is that a breakthrough that you're using inside your group?
Yeah, currently we are using Cloud Anthropic's MCP. One of the reasons why we are using that and not the OpenAI one is because, of course, Anthropic released it in October of last year, so it's a little bit more mature. There are a lot more use cases, and the ability to traverse through Windows just came in maybe the last 3 months. So these are all pretty new technologies. These are not something which has been there for a long time, right?
Right.
Because when Anthropic released MCP in October, they only had cloud usage for it. That is, you could traverse through a URL and do all the things within a SaaS application. But when it comes to legacy regulated industries like fintech and healthcare, most of them are on desktop applications, which is Windows based or Linux based or something. And MCP didn't have an ability to traverse through them 6 months back. But in January of this year, Anthropic released that. Now, OpenAI has also released its computer use thing, but it's pretty restrictive in what it can do. It is, of course, working with some of the bigger companies like DoorDash and others to do MCP related stuff with that. But to use it in a commercial application, we still have to go through a few hoops to get there.
Understood. So Anthropic's just a little bit ahead right now.
I would say they are 6 months ahead of OpenAI. I'm sure OpenAI is going to catch up with them. But for us developers, it is just that, okay, whatever is the best tool we can get right now, we are using that. And if things change in like 6 months' time, we'll go to the next best tool.
Yeah, love it. So one of the things I'm asking my clients to do in the installations is to look and see, we build these process maps and to understand what's time consuming or what we're not good at or we don't have staff for, and then to take that and figure out how we can build Zap connectors or make.com connectors or some of the things like that. But if I want to bring a project to you, like say I have a process for my marketing campaigns and I want to put in a video, it's an interview with a product manager, and I want it to spit out completed marketing. What's the best way to bring that to you so that we can have a rational conversation about connecting it with software, connecting it with AI tools, and how to get started?
So for any of these things, I think the best input is basically your current manual process and workflow, right? So even just a Loom video of somebody in your team doing that work, right? And just showcasing like, this is how we do the work. We take the video, we do ABC, we put it over here, we do ABC, and we put it over there. So that's the entire workflow process, right? So if we can have a recording of that, that will give us the ability to now break down the process into steps and say that, okay, these are the 8 steps. Of course, there needs to be human in the loop when we start off with this. So out of those 8 steps, the first 4 done by AI. Now go to the human to just say, okay, does everything look good? Right. Yes. The submit button, you go to the next 8 steps and then do those steps and then go back to the human. So in today's world, all the projects that you're working on, we are very careful about saying that we don't want an end-to-end automated stuff yet, because we still want human in the loop to make sure that there is some validity verification and that the AI doesn't go haywire and hallucinate and things like that. We track down the AI a lot to make sure that it doesn't do anything which is not supposed to do, but we still want a human being to review it finally to get there. I'm sure in a year's time with enough of data, we'll get to the stage where we will say that, okay, we don't need the human in the loop. Right. And we will do the end-to-end marketing campaign using AI.
It's hard for me to picture that we won't have to have the human in the loop. So that's the little space of time here I gotta catch up with. So this concept of bots or agents doing work, are there any projects that you're working on or that you see coming up in the near future that is agentifying some work processes for clients?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of discussions going on as such, and you have to understand, like within the enterprise space, yes, there is a lot of interest and excitement about AI, but the interest and excitement turning into real projects is happening on the peripheries, which is happening on, say, marketing, on sales, sales agents and marketing agents. Yes, they are using it, but when it goes to the core processes, there is still a little bit of an apprehension of opening it up completely to AI. So there is, we are doing a lot of pilots with a lot of different organizations. So one of the organizations we are doing it is in the financial space. So this is about this is a consumer bank, and so this is about answering very, very simple questions which keep on coming in from the bank, from the users as such, related to their what's their current checking account balance, and what was the last 5 transactions and things like that. In the current world, you log in into your bank account application, and yes, there is an AI inside over there which will answer you those questions and such. But this is not taking it into a mobile app, and you just open up the mobile app and just ask the question, right? You don't have to look at your statements and anything. You just ask the question. Oh, when was the last time Emanuel Rose made a payment to me, as such, right? So you'll just get the last 5 transactions over there. So it's a very simple application. There's nothing complicated in that. The AI is just reading the data in the database and answering those questions in plain English. So that's a pilot which we are doing with this is a very local regional bank based in New England who's doing this as such. And so it's not a big bank or anything. It's a small regional bank. And so that's an exciting project because that
is that by voice and by chat, or is it?
Currently, it is chat, and we are going towards voice in the future as such. So currently, it is purely chat-based things. You can ask questions, get answers from the data as such, and even in the data, there are some restrictions. Right now, we are just doing summarized data as such, but the bank now wants to go to more detailed level data and get into the nth level and say that okay, all the answers can be handled through the chat bot. And then in 3 months' time, once that is stable, and we are currently they are beta testing it with say 100 users or something. Once that is stable, they want to go towards voice, where you can just click on a button and just ask the question, and you'll get an answer.
Yeah, just like you're talking to a regular person.
Yes, just like you're talking to a regular person. And one of the things, one of the development managers in the bank is basically saying that okay, we want to clone the CEO's voice and have the CEO answer it so that it looks like the CEO is answering all your questions, which is unique.
Yeah, that is. I think that's where I've kind of drawn the line. Is like I don't want to have an avatar with my voice. I want to make sure I'm the only one that is looking and sounding like me. But that's interesting. Well, I love the work that you're doing. Let's see. I'm wondering also, do you think that the AI voice is going to just take over typing, and we're not going to have to type anymore in the next 2 years?
Yeah, I mean that's a hope. I mean that's what a lot of the pundits in the industry are hoping for. That goes towards that. There is still some, I would say, some what do I call it? Some withdrawal symptoms from the Series and the Alexas of the world, because they were supposed to revolutionize voice intake, and they did it to some extent, but not to the extent which currently can be done with AI, right? I mean, Siri and Alexa broke barriers and went to a limit, but then they couldn't go beyond that as such. But the current voice technologies, you can actually take it to a long way off. And I think one of the things which I heard from Adobe was working on is basically having the ability to edit images and videos just using voice, right? And so basically saying that you're looking at a video and saying that, oh, I don't like the fact that this hand is being shown on over here. Can you just remove the hand from that version of this thing? So you're basically talking to your computer and editing the video, and that's something which is in the works from Adobe. So I'm sure that a lot more applications are going to come in over there, where voice is the going to be your first level of communications. And if the AI doesn't understand that, is maybe then you'll go in and type something to make sure that it understands that as well.
Yeah, as a part two.
Yeah, but I think again, it is 50-50 right now. I'm hopeful that that's the way it is going to go. But then there are certain applications, because of external noise and other things. Sometimes the AI doesn't understand what we are saying. So accents. I mean, I have an accent, so sometimes the AI doesn't understand the accent. So in those cases, it may you might have to have the chat application there itself because of the mistakes within that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's great, Manish. I really appreciate your time. And if people want to get in touch with you and talk about a potential product or project, how do they do that?
So they can just reach me on my email address. I'm available at manish@dshgsonic.com. So that's my email address. Best way to reach me, or even on LinkedIn. It's my first name and last name. You'll find me very easily. That's the best way to reach me.
Okay, well, I'm going to take this podcast. I'm going to run it through your software, and we'll publish it that way. So I have yet another experience, and I'll look for that info area for as my custom GPT.
Sure.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Nice talking to you as well.
Thank you, and just hang on for me while I close this out and say goodbye. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well, that's good. So if you have a project, or you have a complicated piece of work product that you need help solving, then chart that out, like Manish talked about, charted out the process, the current process, and wrap that up in a Loom video, and get in touch with Manish for a review and to see what it would take to leverage AI to help make your life a little more simple. And so I want to thank Manish Balakrishnan for joining me today. And I hope that you take some time to review your work, look and find some projects or pieces of projects that you can automate on your own, save yourself some time from work, and then get outside, take a walk, and spend some more time with your family, and don't just work all the time. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.